Hello and welcome. Today we have an Alice Summer class destroyer, and um, I will be featuring also how naval warfare is in WarThunder. For this case, it is an arcade battle, but it simplifies how you range and target the enemies when you're moving. In Naval War Thunder, in War Thunder Naval mode, you have to consider the inertial motion of the ship when firing. For example, when firing at this heavy cruiser or this Pensacola class cruiser, you have to consider how fast you are moving relative to the ship. Are you moving away from him? Are you moving eastwards from him? Because this will affect how far your shells will fly relative to the enemy. So in this case, I have to aim way to the left and to the down. So you can see he is 12.24 kilometers away, and I was firing at around the 12-ish kilometer mark. So yeah, in this position, in this time, I found myself way to the front of the vanguard, so I was retreating. As a destroyer, you don't want to typically be the one taking punches or taking fire, and so we simply make a tactical retreat. Also with destroyers, HE is mainly your primary ammo. This is because it is consistent, can set fires, which can suffocate or unalive the crew in the enemy. But yeah, as you can see, there's also a long travel time. Yes, as you can see from the green, that's where my shells are and impact. So another important thing with WarThunder Naval is that to destroy an enemy ship, you have to consider that an ammo or an ammo rack is detonated, mainly the main battery guns, or another condition is that all the crew in the ship are destroyed. So for example, in this Pensacola, you can see that he has 79% crew left. However, as my shells land, you can see that there we go. We have he has lost 3% of his crew and have damaged several of his modules, such as the ammo elevator and auxiliary main guns. This is mainly how WarThunder Naval plays out. It mainly drags out, but boy oh boy, it is so fun, especially when you engage in tough battles. Fast forward a bit to show you what happens when you move in the same direction for too long. What happens is that you tend to be the priority target for several enemies, for example in this case, destroyers or enemies in the back line, because enemies moving in a straight line are easy to target, because as you can see here when aiming, there is a green circle that guides where you should aim your shell. So if you are not moving in different directions, that green circle will change. So yes, you're presenting an easy target for the enemies. In this case, I was doing so because I was targeting an enemy destroyer, and since there was a return to battlefield notification, I don't like to risk going outside the battlefield, so I will just instantly KO all your crew. So yeah, I had to make an inside turn toward the enemies. rather uncomfortable decision I do not want to give. And yeah, it really is tough to be under heavy fire. But luckily, I have researched fire fire extinguishing and smoke, so I can otherwise disengage. And I use smoke, but it doesn't help because if you move too fast, this is what happens. You are moving in front of the smoke, and the enemy can still see an acquisition. Another thing with HE that I mentioned is that it can set fires, and in this case, as you can see, my crew is depleting an HE proxy. But yes, my crew is depleting, and from 86% crew, we went to 52%, which is a big deal because if you go below 10%, you will lose all capability to use repair party or flooding control. So you have to be careful of incoming fire, and as I said, you don't want to tank shots in a destroyer or even in a light cruiser for that matter. However, in the case that you find yourself unable to get out of enemy focus fire, there are two things you can do. You can outmaneuver their shells because constantly wiggling your ship will confuse the enemy. Or another thing you can do is smoke up and stop and reverse and do exactly what I'm gonna do next. For now, I'm just reversing to the smoke, making the enemies think that I'm gonna stay there. And once I am in it, I'm gonna go full forward in a bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick out, yeah, like that. I'm just gonna move forward so that I can make my enemies think that I am still staying in my smoke. So as you can, if the enemy name is in light color, such as in this case, it means there's an obstacle or smoke in between you and the enemy. So when you press X or acquisitioning a target, it can't display the assistive circle or the color, yes, that one. And so setting up smoke is really handy. So you also have to watch out because it only lasts 15 seconds. There. So here again. So we stop. We go full back, and when I am in the smoke, there we go. Well, the worst thing is generally takes ages in Naval mode, but when I am in the smoke, I make the enemy think I'm gonna stay on it since I overdid it earlier. So yeah, they're gonna start shooting at my smoke since they are thinking I'm gonna stay on it. So yeah, we move forward, and there we go. We can easily dupe the enemy shots, and those are two ways you can outmaneuver or lose the enemy focus fire, because once you get focus fire, you easily lose all your crew, and there's a high chance of getting set on fire, most especially if the enemy is using HE or even SAP for that matter. So yeah, target destroyed. That's what happens when you lose all your crew. I intentionally aim for the forward and aft sections of a ship. For instance, if I see that the enemy doesn't lose crew and I aim for the middle, I will aim for the front and the rear of the ship where there are generally more crew. And as you saw, those for the torpedoes. You can spot them from where they are leaving the ship. They will tend to leave on trail, such as or in the water, which are generally hard to spot. So in this case, in arcade mode, there are UI to indicate that torpedoes are detected, and they are really dangerous, especially from Japanese, such as the Shimakaze, or even US for that matter. As for this mode, in naval warfare, I generally prefer to play heavy ships or ships with good artillery, because as you can see, I did not use any torpedoes in this mode because the distance between ships in naval warfare tends to be around 14 or 10 kilometers. So as a US ship, your torpedo range will generally be around 5 kilometer mark. So not only don't they have the range, but they also lack the ability to reach the target as well. And yes, as you can see, I was receiving constant fire, and I had to smoke to disengage. So I was also on fire. So I also used the fire extinguishing mode. However, in games where the objective is in each other spawn or in each deep spawn, the battle will generally tend to drag out so long, because if you push in too fast at the start of the game, you will die because you get focus fire. Because as I said earlier, you don't want to be at the front, otherwise you will be focus fire. You also don't want to be too far at the back, otherwise you can't aim well, because at ranges like this, you can see it takes 15 seconds just for the shells to land at the enemy. And yes, it takes quite a while, so it's really hard to land shots. And as the distance also gets too far, you also waste too much shells. And as you can see, we got third place, albeit not destroying too much. And in this next game, this is my favorite. We are in the Golden Bay. Generally, in this map, B and C are objectives surrounded by, how do you put this? Oil tankers. Oil tankers can serve as mini islands because they block shells and they can't be sunk. So, as a coastal ship, you spawn in the open water, but as the match drags on, you generally want to go to B and C, as you want to destroy the blue water fleet. Or yeah, as you can see, I'll launch torpedoes even though they only have a range of 5 kilometers. I launch them to prevent the enemy from pushing. There we go. This also helps so that in case anyone really pushes, they can get caught in it. And since you are launching at where there are many enemies, there will be a higher chance that someone will be caught in your torpedoes. So in this case, I focus on the light cruiser first because he's the most dangerous. My goal here is to reduce the number of crew so that there can be less crew to damage control or to man the guns on the ship. There we go. I said, they generally don't want to be in the front line of the battle, so I head to the back of the team, but not too far, so that I can still shoot at the enemy. While doing this, I am kiting, heading towards B and C. Kiting is generally a term used where you are retreating, but at the same time, you are attacking, or how do you say this? It generally is a battle of attrition because if the enemy continues on pursuing you, they will lose it. Oh wow, that was a lucky shot. But he was not an intended target. But yeah, if the enemy continues pursuing you, they will lose health, ship, or ammo because shooting at the kiting ship is really hard because if you fire towards a kiting ship, the shells will generally take longer. However, longer to land. However, if you are a kiting ship and firing at an enemy who is chasing you, the shells will tend to land at a shorter time because how do you say? Because the enemy is moving towards you, and the shells are movers of him. So uh, when you put it that way, the travel path that the shell of the kiting ship will have a shorter distance. So that's why it will require shorter time to land. So yeah, that's about it for the basics of naval warfare. And I'm just gonna leave this next segment uncommented. So thank you for watching. Please do enjoy.